Hello everyone, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Gamification.
Episode number 20. This is Chou, Gamification Pioneer and International Keynote Speaker, and I'm here to help you go from Gamification Beginner to Gamification Master. Today we're going to talk about the differences between the left brain core drives and right brain core drives, which interestingly ties into intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation and how you utilize those to design for your target market. So now we begin to dive into more traditional gamification and motivational study areas. I'm sure if you've looked at any other material on gamification or motivational psychology, you will see topics like intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is basically the study that you're doing something to get a goal, to make more money.
So let's say your job is really boring and it's just digging stones out of a grave and you hate the job. And someone comes along and says, hey, for every stone you dig out of the grave, I'll pay you $10,000. And then you're like, wow, haha, easy money. And you become very motivated and it's somehow fun again. But again, the activity itself is not interesting. You do not like to do the activity.
Most companies like to design for extrinsic motivation because it's the easiest to do, right? It's a little hard to make something fun. But it's easy to say, hey, if you do all the stuff we want you to do, we'll give you $10. Or if you win, I'll give you $10. That's easy to design, and people think that's gamification, which it kind of is, but it's just a very weak form of gamification. But ideally, you do want to start to build intrinsic motivation, which is things that you naturally want to do. Now, a big misconception is some people think, oh yeah, giving them points and badges are intrinsic motivations because it's not giving them real money, real goods, but it's still a goal that people want to go to get. And so as a result, it's still extrinsic motivation. If it's intrinsic, it's just like, I don't know what I'm getting, I'm not getting anything, but being part of the experience is exciting and motivating. So let's do a quick review of which core drives are considered left brain core drives and which core drives are considered right brain core drives. The left brain core drives involve core drive number 2, development and accomplishment, core drive number 4, ownership and possession, as well as core drive number 6, scarcity and impatience. The right brain core drive consists of empowerment of creativity and feedback, social influence and relatedness, and unpredictability and curiosity.
Even though I call them left brain versus right brain core drives, that's actually not real brain science. It's more symbolic more than anything else.
Left brain represents more logic, calculations, ownership, and right brain symbolically represents more creativity, social, and predictability. And so some people have given me some heat. It's like, hey, look, that's not scientific. The left brain, right brain is debunked. And I'm like, I don't care about the geography. It's for design purposes, and I could call it rainbow core drives and stone core drives, and as long as one represents logic, the other represents the emotional side of ourselves, that's all right. It just turns out that left brain core drives tend to be more on the extrinsic motivation side. What does that mean? It means that things like development and accomplishment, you want to get a goal, you want to accomplish something. Things like ownership and possession, you want to get more, you want to protect what you have. Scarcity, you want something you can't have. It's all about an end goal, a reward. And so whereas the task itself could be kind of boring, you're still fully engaged because there's a reward at the end. And there's attached to the left brain core drives. Whereas right brain core drives are things that are a little more based on intrinsic motivations. What that means is that
you don't necessarily need a reward to enjoy using your creativity.
You don't need a reward to hang out with friends, and you don't need a reward to be in the suspense of unpredictability.
In fact, in a casino and gambling, you have the opposite of reward because most people know they're statistically screwed by the casino. That's how they make so much money. But people come out saying, oh, I lost $100, but I had so much fun, because throughout the 3 hours they lost their $100, they always thought they could have won, and that's intrinsically motivating.
So a lot of companies like to employ the left brain core drives, and which are obviously more
extrinsic motivation techniques, and they offer rewards on those boring tasks, right? And so sometimes it's a lot more productive if you focus on the right brain intrinsic motivation core drives, so that you actually make the activity fun. Therefore, it will be a lot more sustaining and long-lasting.
And so that's where you would try to increase your portfolio and reach of your gamification design. So the question is how to balance all these core drives, right? Left brain, right brain, white hat, and black gamification. So what do we do here? The choices to think about when you decide to do left brain or right brain core drives, obviously you want to balance them both, but if you want to specialize in one over the other, is think about your demographics and what their regular activities are. So sometimes the people who are overachievers, right, they like left brain core drive. They are people who want hard fun. They are people who want to strive for achievement, and they want things they can't get, and they want to feel like they're accumulating wealth. And there are people who would like to enjoy life, right? Who like to hang out with friends, who's social, to use their creative brain, to see the abstract, to see the beauty of life. And you might want to think more about the right brain core drives. Sometimes younger people just want to hang out with friends and do fun things, whereas when you're a little older, you care about your achievement. And then obviously there's some cultures who want to, you know, enjoy life more, enjoy social relatedness and community more. So you really want to think about who you're targeting and how can you utilize the right core drives to target the right people. So generally, in the long run, the thing about extrinsic motivation is that
it kills intrinsic motivation.
The science has shown that the best way to get a person to stop doing something for free is to first pay it for it, and then stop paying less and less and less and less, eventually, you know, stop paying him. And the science will show that this person will stop wanting to do that, even though before they do it for free.
All right. So since I'm a paid zipliner, you know, I really don't do this after work. I did it as a hobby before, but now I don't do it as more of a hobby since after I get paid.
And that is why you want to create a more intrinsic motivation experience compared to extrinsic. But you want to have both. Now the problem when you only have intrinsic motivation design in your experience is that a lot of times you might have a great experience, but the problem is that because there's no extrinsic motivation, there's no hook, there's no grab to bring people to the experience. So and they don't even know how fun it would be if they participated. So you want to add some extrinsic motivation to the experience. Whoa! Yeah, but intrinsic motivation is always good too. Michael Wu, the chief scientist of lithium, talks about how it's much better to use extrinsic rewards to attract people to an experience because, you know, people are naturally attracted to the rewards, but eventually direct them into that intrinsic motivation. Create such a stunning and amazing experience that eventually the rewards don't even matter. It's really the intrinsic joy of being in the community and helping people out that really matters. And so after that, when you take out the extrinsic motivation, people are still there because they genuinely enjoy the experience. Since most people know how to add extrinsic motivation to an experience, at least they think they know how to do it, there's a lot of intricacies to it, we're going to talk about how to add more intrinsic motivation to the experience, because that's what everyone's wondering. How do you actually make things fun? So remember, we talk about how the right brain core drives are more intrinsics. So the way to really just think about how to make an experience more intrinsically motivating is to start thinking through the right side of Octalysis and start implementing these core drives into the experience. This is why the Octalysis tool is useful, because again, even though it's not geographical brain science, left side is left brain core drives, right brain is right brain core drives, and so you want to use the right side of Octalysis to figure things out. And then of course you can then figure out white hat versus black hat. From the bottom, core drive 7, unpredictability and curiosity. So instead of giving people fixed action rewards, which really is all about ownership and possession, right? It's like, hey, do this and I'll give you a reward. Add some mystery boxes. Make it give them a chance to draw prizes or give them Easter eggs. Hey, maybe randomly you can earn a reward, and that makes a reward more interesting because we're shown to be more engaged towards the chance of earning a reward than getting a reward for 100% chance, which of course doesn't make economic sense because a sure chance of earning a reward is a better reward than a 50% just earning it. But our brains are more engaged to the chance of getting the reward, and hence it is more intrinsically motivating and engaging. Next thing is adding in core drive 5, social influence and relatedness. So another way to make an experience more intrinsically engaging and interesting is to add the social piece to it. Get people to engage their friends, because whatever you're doing, when you're doing it with friends, it's much better, right? And when you add social influence and relatedness, it's not just the corny, hey, let's just add friend invite, but actually figure out ways for people to collaborate, to do things together, to grow, to encourage each other. That's more important than just say, hey, come join my app, because it's cool. The third way to add that intrinsic motivation into your experience is adding core drive 3, empowerment of creativity and feedback, which is again the wide hat, right brain core drives, the core drive of play. And so it's very important to add what we call meaningful choices, which into the experience of the user. So you want to give users a game technique, what I call plan pickers, which is giving them an option to express strategy and style and use their creativity and figure out what is the best way to do something. And when you can do that, there's a level of gameplay. It's not just straightforward, oh, do this, get that, do this, get that. There's all kinds of methods to reach the win state, and it becomes a lot more engaging. And this concludes the Beginner's Guide to Gamification, episode number 20. This is Chou, and I'll see you guys next time. Woo!